Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going over the Executor and a Gley build that goes really well with it. If you didn't know, Executor just recently got a buff, so first things first, I'll give you the builds and you can decide right away if they're good or not, and then we'll show some clips of them in action, and then we will discuss the process of getting these. These are the absolute most min-maxed ways you can make your Executor and then Gley, that you can farm a better reactor than what I have, but what I have I think is really good and definitely viable and perfect where it's at. So let's get into it. This is the Executor shotgun, right? So screenshot this, pause it, do what you gotta do. And then the Gley build that I'm using is just this. It's a variation of my farm build, but it's been updated to be a little bit more viable, and we're using Predator Instinct since we are not using Massacre. Massacre does not work for this weapon at all, so don't try it. We don't need any massive sanguification. Excuse me, my throat is just clogged today. So this is the Gley build. Predator Instinct, not massive sanguification. We have safe recovery for some damage modifier, incoming damage reduction, then HP collector for whenever there's minions, and then walk a tightrope. So I tried a bunch of stuff with Gley to get her firearm attack in a different way. The closest thing I had was improved drive shaft, which that 15% chance, it just never procs. It never rolls. Don't use it. If you're looking for firearm damage, the best way to go is walk a tightrope, unfortunately. So with that, I also use Annihilation. I don't know where we'll just use this for now. I definitely have a better one. I don't know what happened. I deleted a bunch of stuff with the new filters, but whatever, we'll get new ones back. So I use the Annihilation set. When your HP is 50% or lower, you deal more firearm attack, and that pairs well with Walk It Tightrope. So my Reactor is here just for the skill cooldown, and then non-attribute skill power is good with Massacre, but if you are not using Massacre like this build, you can use skill duration up or skill cost reduction. Any of those are going to work fantastic. A gold or purple reactor does not matter for this build, and I think that's a little bit why I do like Gley. So that's her build. Let's run some clips of the bosses if I haven't decided to already. And continue. So yeah, it works pretty well. As you can see, it's not my go-to, more so with Haley just destroying every boss in 5 seconds. These solo bosses are fine, so what I've ended up using the Executor for are operation bosses and chucking them on Bunny.
Mission complete. You did well.
I did use Sharen, so let's get Sharen pulled up, because the ammo economy is poor when it comes to this weapon type. We got power or high power rounds, which are rare, but you can use any of these charge improvements. I did not. I kept the same Executor build, and here is the Sharen boss build that I used for it. Mostly we're looking at overcharged edge. I was able to clear Devour, which we'll put that clip in here as well, but that takes about 10 to 12 seconds. You just don't spam the gun like you do with normal, with Gley, or how everyone's expecting. The way that you use it with her is you want to really time those shots with her cloak, which you can do really well and really quickly with this build. We don't need front lines for this at all, so this can be swapped out, but I'm keeping it this way because I'm actually working on one that allows her to cloak and use her blade, and then, you know, get an Executor shot off when it matters. So that'll be a really cool build when it's done. But that's what I use for her. I use another purple Reactor. I'm a bigger fan of these usually because I don't like sticking to a specific weapon, and as you can see, I often don't like matching the weapon, but I need that 40% skill power for certain things I'm trying. You don't necessarily need it for this build, so no worries. I use the veteran set on her. I don't even have a good set because these are a little harder to farm. So we are just running with this. Shield recovery out of combat at 15 is huge, by the way. More so when using the boss build. The second you proc your overcharged edge, you'll get all of your shield back. So that's really nice. Or if you just need to hide for a little bit of survivability, you'll have your shields back in about not even 10 seconds. So we have that. The veteran set continued. And yeah, that's what I use here. So just Executor, same build, my Sharen boss build, and Reactor and component. Gley is able to optimize this the absolute most. I think her average hit at about her 50% health is 293,000 damage. So per shot, that equals to about 5.5 million damage. So 5.5 million damage to be able to spam that, pretty awesome. Wiggle, wiggle, belly time. And then with Sharen, the reason I think she's a great option for this is because if you set it up correctly, she hits 811,000 damage per pellet, with 317,000 being that average. So that's pretty viable. If you want to use one of those mods to regenerate ammo, that's great, but Sharen on her hits about 15.4 million damage each one of those primary shots, and you can get off about 3 before you run out of ammo. So that's why I chose to experiment with her. Now for the Executor itself, I tried out a bunch of different mods. I thought maybe weak point expansion would be the way to go, but every 10 seconds that isn't too viable, even when using the Sharen version of it, because you're going to proc that shot maybe twice before you can get a third weak point expansion. So Real Life Fighter is the way to go because you're getting 100% of your firearm attack added, which does add up, and it's great. So I tried, you know, strength and first shot, not really the greatest. It's okay, you only get one of those extra shots at 200%, whereas Real Life Fighter, you're getting 200% constantly. I tried Electric Conductor, and that's just so bad. I'm actually surprised at how much worse that was. Weak point expansion, yeah, we already talked about. And then the rest of these, they don't really work for this build. We don't need critical hit rate. We don't need like any of this. This is something that I am going to experiment with now that I look at it. So maybe you could try this and it will be better, but I'm pretty sure what we have now is the absolute min-max build. We have enough space to just add any element you want, so it's very modular, it's very helpful. You can use it for any boss and use it for Gley in that way. So yeah, that's how we came to this final position for the Executor. So I hope this was helpful. If so, definitely like this video. I'm trying my best out here to keep making content for this game. I love this game. I love the people that I've met in this game. Some cool ass people. Also shout out Killer Cam, if you watch this, let me know. Thank you for getting me through gluttony runs quickly without having to suffer through public matches anymore. That was great of you. Thank you. Either way, take care. I think that's all we need. That covers it all. If you have questions, post a comment down below.